We in the building, we in the building, we in the building.
Yes, sir.
We trapping today. We trapping. Freight trapping that is, and welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, your man, your co-pilot, Mr. James Roberts.
He's actually the pilot. I'm the co-pilot.
No,
and this is the girl.
Let me straighten it out. What I mean by co-pilot, because this is geared toward those other truck drivers that are on the road. So I'm their co-pilot. Okay? So I'm their co-pilot. Alright? So yeah, I'm sorry. So I'm their co-pilot. So yeah, she's right. She's not the co-pilot, but I'm the host, James Roberts, and this is
your girl Tawana Roberts, aka the Queen of Dispatch. And yeah, welcome to the Freight Trapping Podcast.
Welcome. Here at the Freight Trapping Podcast, we're going to give you everything trucking. We're going to talk life. We're going to talk entertainment. We're going to talk hip hop. We're going to talk everything that you guys want to talk about. We got a call-in number. Or where you can call in, comment, ask your questions. You can even give a shout out if you're on that road. So right now, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get started. We done our pre-trip, which means that we done checked our sound, we done checked our cameras, we done checked our live, and we've got everything going. All our lines and everything are tight. And so we're going to get this thing started. This is our first episode of Freight Trapping.
Yeah.
101. I say 101 because we know that's a college term. So let's start it off like this here, Tawana. How was your week?
Well, many of you guys know it is Sunday after Thanksgiving, so the week was really, really busy in a very short period of time. I had a lot of meetings this week, a lot of Zoom meetings and a lot of consultations, and by the time we hit Wednesday, it was all about the family, preparing, started to cook and, put my greens on for Thanksgiving and, just being excited and blessed about everything that, I was able to experience over that, the beginning of last week. So extremely, extremely busy.
Yeah, but did you cook?
I cooked.
Really?
I cooked. He's a crazy guy. He know I cooked.
So what all did you cook?
Okay, so I did pretty much the traditional Thanksgiving. I did Cajun turkey. I did collard greens and candy yams and cornbread dressing. I made a homemade pound cake. We had homemade oatmeal and chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah, she keeping me thick. So
I did a little something.
So we all good over here. Thanksgiving was wonderful. And I thank you for making the day wonderful in this pandemic. We miss family. We miss hanging with our family. We miss loving on our family. But at the end of the day, safety is number one. So with that being said, let's move into what happened to me this week.
Yes. How was your week?
My week was wonderful. We're in peak season. And we're moving, we're getting packages to individuals who are ordering online. We're trying our best to make it as comfortable as possible for people during this pandemic. I love what I do. I wouldn't trade it for the world. It brings me comfort. It brings me joy. I don't go to work mad. I go to work glad.
Yes, sir.
And that's one thing that I would... in this podcast, I'm going to be stressing always is get in this thing because you love what you do, not because you love making money. Because making money will have you on the side of the road turned over, flipped, with all 16, 18 wheels in the air. So get into this business because you love it. You got a passion for it. Not because you want to make a quick buck, you want to make a quick... And that's the thing about the podcast, is that we're going to keep this real. We're going to keep it 100. That's why we call it Freight Trapping. Because that's what you do in a trap. You got to be 100 in a trap, else you're going to be 6 feet under. So you got to keep it 100. So for us, we're going to bring the real. We're not going to lie to you. We're not going to try to scam. We're not in this for no trend. We're not in it. We're not in this thing to get what we want to get. I've been driving trucks for over 15 years. I have experience in over 5 different lanes.
Speak on it, baby.
And I can tell a real driver from a trucker. And so at the end of the day, I've held this in for over 10 years. For over 10 years, the experience, the knowledge, and it wasn't until I got with my beautiful wife that she told me, man, you need to give it away. You need to give it away. And I was always like, nah, I'm good. But then when she got into the business, started doing her thing, started supporting my dreams, supporting, what I did for a living, kind of making it easy for me to go to work. Then she began to do her own thing. Then she found her own niche. Then she found what she loved about the transportation industry. And she get up every morning because she loves what she do. Of course, we're trying to build a legacy. Of course, we're trying to, make a little money. But we're not trying to hurt nobody's pockets. We're trying to bring people back into society. We're trying to help them get reestablished in society. We're trying to help them, the disenfranchised, the misplaced. We're trying to get them back acclimated into society and just give them a chance at life. And I'm going to tell you something. This trucking thing, it ain't a quick fix. It is not a quick fix. This is not something you can get your license and then boom, you at the top. Nah, it took me over 15 years to get where we are right now. So it's a process. And that's what this is about. This podcast is about being real. I'm not finna feed you no cookies and cream about this industry. I'm not finna feed you what you want to hear about this industry just because I'm trying to get your money. Or we trying to get your money. Or we trying to get you into something that, you may not be ready for. That's why we do assessments at our school. That's why we do one-on-one consultation. She does one-on-one consultation even before she takes your money. Because this thing is real with us. This is real. This is life. This is love. And so at the end of the day, this is my soapbox for me to come in and be able to talk trucking, talk transportation, talk life, talk love, because this is my wife. We doing this together. We in the business together. And just talk everything, and always peaches and cream between me and my wife. But at the end of the day, what you do in business, when you run into hurdles, you got to find a way to conquer those hurdles. You got to find a way to get out the mud. You got to find a way to get around that mountain. So at the end of the day, all of this goes together. Everything we do in life goes together. So I'm more than happy to have her in the industry that I've loved to do. She loves to dispatch and do her work. And so we're going to be bringing in different guests, mentors, previous students, people that I know in the industry that are successful in their business of trucking. We're going to bring them in. And I'm not talking about people who are sitting at the top of a Fortune 500 company. We talking about people who are in the grassroots, who are still on the ground, who still down here making it happen, going from state to state, going from city to city, moving your things around. So that's just a little bit about our podcast and what we want to do. We are faith-based. Let me just say that. We are faith-based. And if you know the story in John, he says that God told them to cast their net And see, a net is synonymous with a trap. They both capture. So what happens is when he says cast your net, he doesn't just say cast it, right? He doesn't say just cast it. He says cast your net on the right side of the boat. So that means cast your net where I tell you to. Move when I tell you to move. And so that's what this is. This is something that God told us to move on, and we move. So we casting our net right now. We casting our net right now. And so we want to thank you guys. We want to thank you guys for allowing us to come into your homes, come into your cars, come into your trucks, most of all, because this is who I'm doing it for, the truckers who are on that highway, because I did it for 10 years plus. I was on that highway for 10 years plus. So we're doing it for you guys, helping you guys get from one city to the next city, helping you get to that rest stop, helping you get to that parking lot where you can take your shower, get your meal, and lay it down and do your 10-hour reset or your 8-hour reset, whichever one you're doing. So right now, with that being said, I've said what I wanted to say. We've made it through the first portion of why we're here. So now, let's do this. Miss Tawana. Miss Tawana is going to be my first guest. Put her on the spot. Miss Tawana is going to be my first guest. And like I told you, I'm getting people who are grassroots, who are on the ground doing it the right way from the ground up, then took the licks and they kept on ticking. All right, so this is what we're going to do. I'm going to ask Miss Tawana some questions. You ready?
Yes.
First of all, I did my little spiel. Let me see if Miss Tawana have anything she would like to say as my wife, as my business partner, and as the mother of my beautiful kids. Do you want to have something you want to say?
I actually don't. Well, I'll say this. I know my husband is saying, I'm his business partner, but this has been, a really huge passion and something that he's really wanted to do for a long time. When I met James 6 years ago, I just can always remember the passion that he's expressed in this industry of transportation and logistics. I don't want to just say trucking because, it's such a huge industry. But I used to listen to him talk about, this amazing training school that he wanted, to start. I listened to him talk about, and I've seen him travel this country, doing what he loves when it comes down to driving. We would sit at home weeks at a time because he's out on the road, he's making it happen. And I have a corporate finance background, so I never really understood, the passion to the extent that he experienced it, because even though back in 1999 I used to dispatch and I got into the industry of transportation and logistics, I didn't stay in it for a long time, but I did learn so much. I had a huge passion for it. I did extremely well with the company that I dispatched for. This was back when we were using packtails and things like that. Come a mighty long way. Yeah. From 1999. That's been like 21 years ago. So I just am so proud of everything that he's done over these last few months in preparing to get to this point. I'm excited about how much he loves this industry. He has a passion for it, and then how much he's really, taught me and pushed me. Back in 2008, I started my first trucking company, and I didn't have the passion back then, 12 years ago, like I have now. But I thank God for growth. I thank God for knowledge. I thank God for the experiences I've experienced throughout the years to get us to this point. And so, the only thing I really, really want to say is that I'm just extremely proud of him and, everything that he's done and he's doing and that he's going to do. And I'm extremely excited to share it with you guys as well. I'm extremely excited that he got rid of if I do this or if I started, and he started speaking on when he start his podcast, when he opens up his training school. And we did that. We've opened up the training school. We have now become certified partners with the state of Texas. We're the 19th partner with the state, and thank you so much. We are certified partners with the state of Texas. We don't have a trucking business. We have a transportation and logistics academy. We educate, we cultivate, and that is what we love to do.
Say that again. What we do? We
educate so we can cultivate. And that's just the passion. That's just what we do, and that's what we love. And so I'm extremely excited about it, and that's pretty much what I want to say on that. I can talk on it a little bit longer because I'm just extremely blessed and grateful for everything that we've spoke on, we talked about, we put into plans, into motion, and everything that God told us that was going to happen for us, it has happened and it's happening. And so that's why we're here today, because we want to, share that with you guys. We want to, be there for you guys as your season and your blessings and the favor continues to pour on you and your families and your household. And so that's what I'll say on that.
And let me say this here to you. Let me say this here to you. This is our platform. You can talk as long as you want, as much as you want, how you want. This is one place that you won't hear me, quote unquote, interrupting you. Because you say I always jump in when she's talking. So I'm learning to not listen to respond, but listen to hear.
Yeah.
So I got that out of counseling. We getting healthy. Yeah. So at the end of the day, that's what I'm learning to do, and this is your platform. This is our platform. You can say what you want, how you want, when you want, for as long as you want. So there's nothing I'm going to say, hey, oh, wait a minute, unless you dropping too many nuggets that's going to take away from us making money.
And let me just say this. It's crazy. Let me just say this though. I'm extremely impressed because, guys, that's why he said he wanted to speak on love. One of the things that we've done since we've met and since we have been married is every year we have counseling. And we don't have to have problems to go through counseling. We don't have to be fussing and fighting to go through counseling. We have been working with a spiritual counselor for 6 years. And I feel like because of that, it has continued to build and build and build. And the reason why I'm the one brought that to the table, because I know that was one of the things that I heard Will Smith and Jada Pinkett did. And, to see them being married now, well over 20 years, and know that everything's not peaches and cream, but they still find a way, to come together and to go through those sessions to make sure that they're continuing to do the work. And that's what, being in a relationship is all about. And it's extremely important with that because of the industry my husband is in, with him being out there on the road. Ooh. You want to keep your spouse mind healthy. You want to keep them healthy. So all of that just ties in, and we'll talk more and more. And, on different things. We get a lot of comments of people saying, hey, my favorite couple and couple goals. And I thank God for that. I thank God for the, the love that people share. We're not perfect by far, but we love each other. We have respect for each other, and we're going to go to work and grind with each other, and we got each other back like nobody's business. So, that is something that I definitely wanted to share to the couples out there that's in this industry, to let you know that, man, counseling is one of the most healthiest things that you can do in your relationship, in your marriage.
Daff over there saying she smiling.
Yes, my sister.
That's
Shout out
sister.
To my sister, Chapter 1 Million. I got to put the plug in for my sister, for everybody that's going to be watching this live stream, everybody that's on Instagram. Shout out to Chapter 1 Million. She's got her own clothing apparel, killing the game. So if you guys are on Instagram, follow Chapter 1 ONE Million. And show her some love. I'm sure she got some amazing deals and specials right now. It's Black Friday weekend. And, hey, Cyber Monday is tomorrow. Hey, ready to shop?
So what we're going to do is we're not going to give you everything all in one setting. We just want to give you guys a little ski taste of us. A little ski taste. All the old school grandmothers out there, they used to always say it. So we just want to give you a little ski taste of us. And now we're going to get into the Freight TrapN podcast. So, Ms. Roberts.
Yes, sir.
They call you the queen of dispatch. Self-titled and well-deserved in my eyes. How did you get started?
Well, I kind of gave y'all a little snippet of that a little while ago, but let me tell you again.
Go ahead.
So basically, I got into dispatching actually at the age of 19, 21 years ago. Okay, and actually, I started off as a customer service agent, and I was so intrigued with seeing some of the men and women, sitting at their computers, and they were working with these drivers as they ran their manifest. And so I was like, okay, so how do I become a dispatcher? Because I was like, I want to sit at this big cubicle with all this equipment, and I want to do it, right? That was my mindset. So I found out what I need to do. I took the test. I passed. I became a dispatcher within my first year of working for the company. For those of you from Houston, I used to work for Metrolift, which is a part of the local transit authority. They specialize in working with the disabled, whether they were ambulatory or wheelchair bound. And I worked for that particular division, and I dispatched drivers that ran a manifest, and we had protection drivers. So I actually got my introduction to dispatching back in 1999. And then I did that for about 4 years, and then I ended up, finishing, getting my degree, going into business, started working in the oil and gas industry. Long story short, here comes the corporate finance. But in between that, I started my first trucking company in 2008 in my first marriage. And in that particular business, I was more on the back end doing the admin support, but got back into the industry and decided that that wasn't my passion, and just kind of, like I said, still was doing my thing in corporate finance.
Let me jump in real quick. So you said that you went from Metro dispatching, right? Mm-hmm. And you jumped into corporate finance. So in corporate finance, what was your title? I mean, what did you do?
I was the AR analyst.
So in other words, what you're telling me is that when you jumped into starting your own business.
No, I didn't. No.
No, what I'm saying is when you jumped into doing what you're doing right now, you knew about how to handle money.
Right.
You knew about how to go in and do spreadsheets, handle your computer, and get these different contracts and get in the back offices and all that kind of stuff.
Correct.
So you came in with knowledge of technology.
Right.
So, and that's one thing, that's one area that trucking is going into is technology. And that's one thing that drivers have to, a lot of drivers don't want to accept is that trucking is moving more into technology. So I just wanted to stop right there and put a pin right there because I didn't want to overlook that as being a vital part of where you've taken the business. Continue.
Okay. And so I got out of, I walked away from that company. I was bought out. Then, as I stated, was in corporate finance. Fast forward, I met James 2014. And from there, I would listen to him, share his passion and his heart. But it wasn't until 2017 that he told me, hey, you really, because there was some other things that I was doing as an entrepreneur. I had kind of tapped into entrepreneurship in 2015, and then he was telling me, I really think you need to start your own independent dispatcher business, because one of the things that I enjoy so much and needed so much out there on the road was a really great dispatcher, to get me through the week, to make sure that they have eyes to see things that I can't see, because at the end of the day, there's this myth in trucking, that, I can use a load board. I can drive my own truck and dispatch myself, and the reality is that you can't do that because you can't drive and watch load boards all day. So you can't do both at the same time, right? But he said that there was a need for it. And so I said, okay. And so I did a little research, boom, started the company, boom, got my business, license in order. And then I started just really digging into the industry. I started being mentored by a gentleman who was actually my first carrier, Quan. And my husband, he was, mentoring me. So I was getting it from, some of the stuff from the gentleman I started dispatching for, because he had to show me some things on the load board side that I really wasn't familiar with.
Okay, Pin. So when you jumped into dispatching, you had previous experience. You had other experience in accounting, which people love that, because if you got somebody that'll watch your money, and whoa, that's a big deal for a trucker. Then when you decided to move on being a dispatcher for a freight company, you already had a plug. You already had a plug when you made that decision.
Yes.
Which was Quan.
Right.
Okay. Key nugget. Have someone, a mentor in transportation to help you get off the ground. Continue.
Okay. And so from there, I started, just like in corporate America, when you are, being trained on your first day of work, you're taking notes, or with me, when I first started, because I have an oil and gas background, so a lot of times they're very organized. You come in, they giving you binders this thick, full of information, especially for me, because I was invoicing $1 million, multi-million dollar deals from Exxon.
You just gonna go over there like that? You just gonna jump over just you orchestrating, handling $1 million accounts like that?
Yeah, I was.
Okay, go ahead. I'm just saying, you just gonna throw that in.
So I was working with the Chevrons, the ConocoPhillips, Exxons, all of the Texaco, all of the big dogs in the oil and gas industry, and I was handling most of all their accounts because I was working directly with engineering services. So the reality was, all of that good stuff that I had learned, I was taking notes and training, compiling information, doing a lot of different things, and I started building, a training manual for myself. And then I even had another plug, which is my girl Tristan Simmons out of South Carolina. Like, she and I in 2018, yes, Lady Logistics. Shout out to her and Logistics Chick, man. They are brokers out here in the industry. These women are killing the game. But me and Tristan are been friends for years. before she even started her own brokerage. Like, we go back. And so me and her were actually, she was like, man, come, do this brokering thing with me, be my, broker agent. And I started learning that end of the business as well while I was dispatching for Quan. And so, it just kind of took off, man. I just started compiling all this information, things that I've learned from.
So again, and I'm gonna keep interjecting as you go, because I don't want people to miss certain points.
Okay.
So you took what you learned and how you compiled information in accounting, and you use that same skill to build your own dispatching manual. So I told you this when I seen you going through the process. Help me out in the live chat. What was that name of that movie with Jamie Foxx where he quit his job? How to Break Up with Your Woman. He did that manual, and he created that manual. Live chat. What was that movie? Instagram. What was that movie? But he took the manual of everything he learned on his job that they were giving him on how to fire somebody. He took that and flipped it on how to
breaking all the rules.
Thank you. Thank you. Who was that?
That's Hustle Hall. That's my boy. Thank you.
Okay. Hustle Hall. Man, thank you, Kat. So you basically took that same process he did with his book, because his book became #1 in the movie because he flipped it and changed it to How to Break Up with Your Girl. So you basically took what you learned in accounting, building manuals, and flipped it and built your own manual from scratch in dispatch.
Well, I mean, it's not, and I'm not going to take 100% credit for it, because again, like I said, I took things that I learned from my girl Tristan, things I was learning.
That's what he did.
Yeah. So I took everything, and just started compiling data, information together, and built a training program. Now, this was back in around summer of 2018. And then what I did was, from there, as I was building my business and my reputation and helping my first carrier build his business, who was new in the industry, he wasn't even a year in the game, he was a few months in the game when I met him. I started helping him build his business, dispatching, building relationships with a lot of amazing brokers, a lot of the bigger brokers, because he was new. Because one of the things that happens in independent trucking is that when you're new and your authority is like less than 6 months active, it's really hard for you to build your business with loads outside of the load board. The reason why is because a lot of these brokers have strict policies and procedures in place, and the reason they're strict is because their shippers, who are their clients, have strict policies and procedures in place. So unless you have met someone who has a government contract that says, hey, I could bring you on as a sub, man. You've been in the game 30 days. Your authority is active. You got your insurance together. I'll bring you on. That's a blessing, but that's not how it typically works, okay? And so this gentleman was building his business from the ground up. I started working with them. I started making calls. I started getting him set up with as many brokerage as I could. I came in as a business professional and helped him build a positive reputation. And from there, man, we just had brokers putting us on dedicated lanes, man. We were just running. And the guy, like his first year in business, he did like 1.6 million with 4-5 trucks.
And that's doing good.
Yeah. So
let me get to the next question. What kind of revenue can a first level dispatcher look for in her first year or in her first 3 months?
Or his, because I do train a lot of men. Because I did start a training just to kind of, clean that up in 2019. I came in the game and training back in March of 2019, and I've been able to train almost 2,000 people throughout the United States, as well as in Canada, Colombia, Japan, and the UK. The UK. So United Kingdom. So I'm extremely blessed about that. But to answer his question, to be honest with you guys, I really don't like talking numbers. Only because I came in the game, and this is the rule. This is just what I tell people. I give you realistic numbers, and I don't want to step on anybody's toes. Let me just make this disclaimer. We all run our business the way we want to run it. When you're the CEO and the founder of a company, you get to pick and choose who you have working with you. You get to pick and choose if you have a product or a service that you offer, how much you want to charge. So let me say that. We don't charge nothing less than 5%. I don't care who's charging 2, 3, 4, and 5. We don't charge anything less than 5%. At this point in the game where my business is, we do charge more than that. However, I built this relationship. I built a name for myself, and that's why I can do it. But if you're coming into the game new, when I look at numbers on average, the average truck should, and this is pre, COVID. The average numbers on these trucks are about $5,000 to $6,000 a week in revenue on average. Okay. And it always depends on what type of equipment you're working with, whether it's a flatbed, dry van, or reefer. It also depends on what season you're in. People, I hear so many myths about trucking, and to be honest with you, dry vans and reefers, they're seasonal. You have produce season, which we're not in right now. And so, rates can be a little bit.
Yeah, because,
a little bit lower than what you're used to.
You said something about
in the
produce. Spring. And that's one of, I don't want to get off topic and get off subject, right. But that's, that lane, I just heard on the news, in the trucking news, that it's a 60-40, ratio when it comes down to rejected loads in there. And it's hard. I mean, that lane is hard when you're trying to get produce or flowers or something that needs to be refrigerated from California over to Pennsylvania without anything, spoiling. And so at the end of the day, that reefer game is man, you got to be on your toes. So that's for another day. That's for another day. So let's do this here.
But real quick, I want to head over because, guys, we are live streaming from Instagram, and I just want to say, thank you, Denise, because it is Fly Girl Realtor Denise. She said it's what you're worth, and she's absolutely right. Excuse me. Denise is here out of Houston. And I just want to shout her out because I appreciate the comment. But she's one of Houston's finest real estate agents. So if you are looking for a commercial or residential property, hit her up. You could be, I'm sure, in another state. If you're looking to buy some property here, get with Denise. Because I know I have people here from Georgia and Philly on here, and I'm amazed, and I'm so glad to see you guys here. But Fly Girl Realtor, definitely. Y'all hit her up and shout out to her. But again, it's just all about, what particular equipment you're working with. And then it depends on how many trucks you're dispatching. So we're going to just say on average, you can generate about $2,000 a month per truck on average. And it definitely, again, can be more. It just depends on what season you're in, what the rates are going for. If you have direct loads with shippers, if you're working directly with a broker that is putting you on, right, before they even put loads out there on the boards, before it's stumped on 3-4 times more. All of that takes into account of the revenue you can generate, but on average, you're looking at about $2,000 a truck. So if you're running and these are trucks that are over the road, these guys are coming in saying, hey, I want to just run local, and I want to make $15,000 a week. Well, that's not going to happen.
And we all know what we all know what she mean when she say stomped on.
Yeah.
This is the trap. Mm-hmm. So you know what it mean when she say stomped on.
So we don't, it just really depends. But on average, I would say with 5 trucks, especially flatbeds over the road, a dispatcher can make easily $10,000 a month with 5 trucks over the road dispatching. Those are average numbers, and I'll leave it at that. So you're looking at a 6-figure business. It's not even that you can't come straight into the game doing that. I came straight into the game with a client who had 5 trucks. I came straight in at the door with 5 18-wheelers, 5 flatbeds, 4 flatbeds, and 1 53-foot step deck, and we ran and ran. But the drivers were hungry, the carrier was hungry, and I damn sure was hungry. So we ran and we ate good.
That kind of goes into when they asked about what's the revenue like, and your revenue and a broker's revenue, a dispatcher's revenue, a shipper's revenue depends on what type of driver or trucker you have working your load. I'm telling you that it depends on the driver. I'm a driver. I've done it all. I've ran over the road for over 10 years. I've done it. I've done from flatbedding to box vans, to oversized loads, to tankers, to running nitrogen liquid, oxygen, argon. Hey, it takes drivers to make a company go. It takes drivers to make the revenue worth it. Mm-hmm. But also, if a driver has a dispatcher that's listened to him, that cares about him, that wants to make sure he's safe, he gets home to his family, he goes to his doctor's appointment, don't try to keep him out there on the road when he has to get to his parole officer. Yes. When you got a dispatcher that cares about you and not only just cares about themselves, because let me tell you, the way we look at it is this. You don't want to help me, but you at home in the bed asleep. I'm out here on the road. You home with your family. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's how we look at it as drivers. So when we run into a hurdle, we expect for a dispatcher to say, don't worry about it. I'm going to see what I can do on my end. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. To make him comfortable. And sometimes he'll pay you more than that 5% mm-hmm. because you care more about him than you do making that 5%. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's why you were saying that you start at 5, but it can get more. It
can definitely be more because again, and I just want to make this disclaimer. I'm not gonna sit here. I'm not knocking how anybody else run their business. But what I'm telling you is that this is what I've been able to do. This is what I've been successful at. As you guys may know, you might follow me. I don't even advertise anymore for drivers. Like, our company has been so blessed that I'm not trying to bring on any more carriers. And these carriers, when they're making 7 figures a year, and they're eating good, and their drivers are eating good, they don't care about 5%. They don't care about 7%. They don't care about 10%. Because if you are a great dispatcher, which is what I teach and what I definitely believe in, and going above and beyond and making sure you're here to serve your client and make sure that you're meeting every need that they've written and jotted down on your carrier profile sheet, when you're serving with the spirit of excellence, they're going to pay you well. They're going to pay you well. And you're not going to hear the complaining and the nagging and, oh, you trying to take all my money? No, I'm not taking all your money. I'm helping you build your business. You're making a lot of money. Most companies don't see the success that a lot of my clients have seen. I've worked with people that have been in the game 30 days, 90 days. I have a client that's been in the industry 16 years with 40 trucks. Hey, here, glory, shundo. Hey. But I'm just telling you, God will make everything work out in your favor. You just have to be able to practice the principles so you can participate in the promise. Serve with the spirit of excellence. Come in the game with an authentic heart, genuine, not trying to get over on anybody, and they'll pay you. You're only as much as you're worth. I'm not charging anybody 2 and 3% to dispatch. I'm sorry, we don't do that here. We don't charge 5% plus we dispatch and we do your back office. No, you're gonna pay extra if you want to work with us, but we're not gonna send you from New Jersey to California on $1.08 a mile. We ain't gonna do that. And there's some companies out there that do that, but we're not that company. We're going to make sure that you are successful in your business just as we are here. But you're gonna pay what we're worth, and that's what I believe in. And so that's what it is on that.
But see, that's one thing that I was sitting here while you were talking. I was thinking of. I remember it was one day that I said, you know, man, you could be charging $600-700 for this training, especially for this manual you've come up with. And she said, "Nah, I'm good." I say, "Okay," and I thought about it, and she actually just made me remember what I always teach her, that, or not teach her, but we talk about, is that sometimes it's not all about the money you make, but it's all about the influence you leave. Meaning that sometimes you got to take a hit on a load in order to build a relationship with a shipper, so that when those loads do come through, guess what? God is already there shining your face in their business to let them know, man, look, let's take care of this particular carrier because they looked out for us when we were at a low point. And so sometimes as a driver, as a carrier, as a dispatcher, you kind of have to take that hit. And I've seen you take several hits because you stood on the principles of what we started this business under, was helping people get back on their feet, become successful and thrive in society after being locked up, after being in an abusive relationship. That woman who's trying to get away, or that woman who's gotten away and needed to start over. You know what I mean? And that's what you initially built it on, was helping those women who were trying to get away. And I've actually seen you give away several of your packages because somebody emailed you, DM'd you, or said, "Hey man, I'm in a bad position," you know, and you were like, "Hey, God gave it to me. Let me give it to somebody else. He'll give it to me down the line." Right?
Yeah.
And He's giving it to us down the line. He's bringing it to us, and there's not going to be room in the storehouse. Just like when I just said, when God told them to cast their net on the right side of the boat, we casted our net and we set our trap on the right side of the boat, and the net is beginning to fill up so much that we're not able to pull it in the boat. We just have to let the net drag on the side until we get to shore. That's the promise of God. And so that's what you were saying when you stood on this. You want some of this? That you stood on this and you stood on the word of God, and He's delivering to you. That's that net.
Yeah.
You're not able to pull it all in. You're not going to be able to pull it all in. You're just going to have to just let it ride on the side of the boat until you get to shore, and then you count it up. But if He's going to fill it up that much, guess what? I don't want to make it to shore. Just let it ride on the side of the boat. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about this. Do you actually need your authority in order to become a dispatcher, or in order to dispatch?
No. And I'm glad you asked that question, because I get that a lot when I do consultations. And you do not. You, as a dispatcher, you have no liability when it comes down to the loads and who's going to carry the loads. A dispatcher falls under the category of customer service. And that's what I try to, get people to understand and know. Dispatching is a customer service type of position. And so all you're doing is offering support. You're there to service these people and to help them build their business. But you do not need a authority. You do not need a surety bond. That is when you go into brokering and where the surety bond comes and the authority, or if you decide you want to go in and become an actual carrier. But dispatching, the overhead is very minimum, depending on how many systems you're operating. Depends on what type of accounting program you're using, if you're using any. One of the things that I take pride in is that I've been able to build this amazing business at a very low overhead. Like, I think it's because I have the accounting background, so like I'm cold with Excel and spreadsheets. But what I've been able to also implement in my training, I was also able to show these clients and individuals that I have been able to train how to create a basic spreadsheet in Excel and do your own invoicing. And not only that, but take the things that you do as far as the invoicing part and offer it as a service on the back end for your carrier, so that they won't have to be tied down with trying to create invoices and put your backup together to submit either to their factoring companies or even to the broker. Because now I'm seeing a lot of carriers are just not even using factoring companies like they used to, which we are going to have some factoring company guests come on to the podcast and talk a little bit about their roles and how important they really are into the industry. But
talk that money.
So I've been able to teach them that. But with dispatching, you don't need an authority at all. All you need, and I recommend, is having a professional business established. I highly recommend, going to the state that you're in and getting your LLC established. Reason why is because you this is a big business. Like, I can't express to you how big freight dispatching is, how much it's needed. Like 90% of carriers out there need a dispatcher. So whether they hire you as a W-2 employee or bring you in as a 1099, they need a great dispatching service. Over 90%.
Let me say this here. A lot of truck drivers tried, and I've seen it. I've seen it done. Very few were successful at being their own dispatcher.
Yeah.
There very few were successful at being their own dispatcher, because let me tell you something. You can't deal with a problem with a load, getting the ETA. We don't like people. That's the reason why we become truck drivers, is because we don't want a supervisor hanging over our head. So when somebody's steady calling us, what's your ETA, what's your ETA, what's your ETA, man, I got in the truck and so nobody wouldn't be hanging over my head. When I left, I give my dispatcher the updates. Hey man, I'm about 2 hours away. Hey, I'm about 30 minutes away. You know what I'm saying? Or if I pick a load up, I can tell you, and I got a relationship with my dispatcher. She already know if I say I'm gonna be there in 2 days, I'm gonna be there in 2 days. So she gonna let me run.
Right, and she's not gonna stress you out.
She's not gonna stress me out, and that's what dispatchers do for truckers. They communicate. So leads me to my next question.
Well, let's go. Before we go to that, I am a P31 woman. Oh, okay, Proverbs. Okay, yes, it is. Do you recommend a business cell phone? I recommend that you do whatever it is you can financially afford on a monthly basis. Jot those numbers down. Put them in a spreadsheet. Look at the numbers. See what you can financially afford on a monthly basis, and you can do that. However, you don't have to do that. You can also Smartline through GoDaddy. Smartline, amazing. I think it's like $19 a month. You get your whole business line. You get a whole business number. You get a personalized greeter that will be professional. You can set your business hours. It's amazing. I use it, and I love it. I absolutely love it.
That's one
SmartLine Sis through GoDaddy.
That's one
and it's
of them,
an app called SmartLine. So
that's one of them golden nuggets we drop every now and then because all of that is in her program. So that was for free.
Yeah, because my thing is you don't have to purchase another phone and pay a monthly bill. Just pay the $19 a month, and then what happens is if you use your phone, it's going to be forwarded. That number will be forwarded to your cell, and then what happens is when it rings, if it's a business call, it's going to show you SmartLine and it's going to show you Business Line. So then you'll know how to properly answer your phone, because let me tell you something. You have to be your admin. You have to be your CEO, the CFO, the COO. You have to be everybody when you're starting these businesses off the floor. So one of the things you need to do is keep your costs low and, improvise. So you're welcome.
Hey, what up, man? Hey, that Mr. Lou, what's happening, baby? That's my brother right there. Say, hey, I'm telling you, he's one of the grassroots drivers that will be on the Freight TrapN podcast coming soon. He's going to be a regular guest because he was somebody that when I was on the road, he was telling me, hey man, go up the hill in this gear, come down in that gear, do this, do that, woo, woo, woo. When I first started back in 2004. So he's going to be, man, that's my brother. I mean, that's my brother. If you look at him, we might, be brothers for real. But that's my brother. 30 years of friendship. He took me there, and Lewis say, free. What's the name of it again?
It's not free, Lewis, but it's called SmartLine.
No, he said fee. I guess what's the fee? What's the name of it again?
Well, he said free, FREE, but it's $19.99 a month, and it's called SmartLine. And then Mr. Hustle Hall said, how do you recommend finding solid drivers? That's James' question.
Oh, man. Oh, man. How do you recommend finding solid drivers? You just have to have a good spirit of discernment.
Yeah.
I promise you do. Everybody. And I'm going to speak up. And I'm going to speak up for solid drivers that come from this place. Because I did 10 years in the penitentiary. And I'm going to tell you now, when you find somebody that come out of that place and they got that spirit, they got that drive, they got that go-getter mentality, do whatever you can to help them. And you'll find you a solid driver. You know when you have a solid driver, when you say, hey man, I know I told you this load got to be picked up at 8, but they need it picked up at 6. Can you go get it? If he give you all kind of excuses the first time, kind of roll with it. But if you ask him again, and he give you excuses again, that's a red flag. That don't mean you do away with him, but that just means that you ask me how to find a solid driver. You're not gonna find a solid driver until until that driver's been with you 3 months. 3 months on the road driving, you'll probably be able to tell what kind of driver, if you have a driver or if you have a trucker. It's a difference between a driver and a trucker. A driver, he gonna be safe, he gonna be compliant, he gonna do whatever you need to do to make sure that load is strapped down safely. He gonna do whatever he need to do to get that load from A to B safely. And he gonna be on time. And he gonna let you know his ETA. You ain't gonna never have to worry about where he at. That's a driver, a professional driver. Now a trucker, he don't care what's gonna go down. He gonna load it up, he gonna strap it down, and he gonna get to moving. So it all depends on, your assessment when you find a driver, and it just takes a little time. But I'm going to speak up for those brothers who getting out the penitentiary, who got that fire, who got that drive, who want to make themselves readily available to be a productive man in society or woman in society. And you can have them for 3, 4, 5 years. But just know that when they get with you, they do have ambitions of their own. So for you, the way you get another driver like them, keep pouring into them. Keep pouring into them. Just know that, hey, this may be a stepping stone for him, but guess what? I'm going to give him what I got so that when he do get ready to leave, God going to replace him with another him. Dig what I'm saying? So you just got to have that spirit. So let's move on. We doing it back and forth. We asking questions on Instagram and doing our own thing, right?
Yeah.
So let's go. Let me ask you this here, cause I heard you say something about brokers in there.
Uh-huh.
What's the difference
between
a broker and a dispatcher?
Good. I'm glad you asked that too. He got some good questions.
Don't I?
Okay. So, and I'm glad he asked, because I get a lot of people asking me. They're saying, okay, they come to me and they'll say they heard my podcast interview that I've done before with Mr. Truck and Hustle. Shout out to Truck and Hustle, the #1 trucking podcast that we got out there. Big ups to Ramel, doing amazing things. And so thank you for having me on there last year. I truly am blessed and appreciative of you allowing me to come on and share my story. But I do get a lot of people saying, they think about going into brokering, but I'm not really sure, what's the difference? Should I do dispatching? And so the difference really is simple. With brokering, brokers work directly with shippers. They have a surety bond and they have to have an authority to do business with them so that they can broker the loads. They go out and build relationship with shippers so that they can get the freight, so that they can put out there for people like James and some of the people that's here watching, owner operators to transport those loads. Whereas dispatchers are only serving, right, as the middleman between the carrier and the broker. I'm here to negotiate on behalf of my client, the carrier, the owner operator. I'm here to make sure he's not getting messed over on some of the loads on all his loads rather, that he's transporting. And I'm here to build a professional relationship on his behalf. I'm here to help him build his business by negotiating and having business relations with these brokers to help him build his business. So that is the difference. We are here as dispatchers to serve our carrier and to work directly with the shippers to get these loads for him so that they can transport them. And a broker is working directly with the shipper so that they can get the loads dispatched out to the universe so that they can be picked up and transported.
I'm going to be honest with y'all. I'm sitting here just low-key trying to stay cool, but he ain't going to talk this talk, doing this thing, man, it's really just giving me a high. You know what I mean? It really just giving me a high. I'm just really trying to sit here and be cool. But when you got a woman that start talking that talk that you love to hear, it just do something to you. So I really appreciate my God for sending me my Ruth. So and we're gonna I have one more question.
Okay.
And this is gonna probably wrap it up. We'll open up the phone lines after this. This dispatching thing, is this something you can really do from home?
Yeah, you really can. And again, that's just been a huge blessing for me because I did have a baby 2 years ago. And it's just been an extremely amazing journey and a blessing that, I have, a beautiful home office. I have everything that I needed to be successful in dispatching. That is probably one of the most frequent questions I get is, can you really do it for home? And you can. You don't have to have, all of the equipment, but the main thing is definitely having a phone, a mobile device, a smartphone, and if anything else, a laptop. You don't have to go and get a PC. You can have a laptop. You can operate with 2 laptops at one. You can get the dual screens and get you a PC. It's strictly up to you. But I've been extremely successful in the last 3 years and building this business from the ground floor up from home. And I've been able to do it with a laptop, 2 phones, and I have a scanner app on my phone. I have an eFax app on my phone. So everything that I pretty much do is from my phone. I remember my first year I would be, I probably dispatched about $50,000 worth of loads in a week for 5 of my flatbeds, and I'd be in the nail shop getting my toes and nails done because I've already ran my trucks where they were going, and all the back hauls were secured, and they were on and popping, and I did it from the privacy of my phone. And then when something came up or something would needed to be faxed, because some of these brokers are still living in the 1990s, FYI, so you may have to fax some paperwork sometimes. You may still have to do, everybody's not using electronic options to fill out carrier packets, broker agreements. They're saying, hey, let me see the packet in a PDF document. You might have to print it out. You may not, but then you have Adobe Fill and Sign where you can pretty much use it, or DocuSign, and just, type into the document and complete it. But you can absolutely do this from home. You don't need a bunch of equipment to get started. One of the most important pieces is having a phone and maybe a laptop at the most to get started, and just having passion and drive and that go-get-it attitude.
Okay, cool, man. I mean, we often wonder, do you have, you see a lot of dispatchers going into work. And when you think about dispatcher, you think about, like Metro. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, and just to answer a question that I saw, Proverbs 31, she said that she lives by a truck stop near Buc-ee's, and is it legal for her to go and pass out her business cards? Let me tell you, if there's a disclaimer saying no soliciting, you don't want to go in there. However, what I've been able to do and what I train all of the people that work with me is build relationships. Start going into the store and patronize the business. I mean, my God, you can go and buy a cup of coffee every day for 2-3 weeks. And this is one of the most important nuggets I'm going to share, because trucking is all about building relationship, guys. I don't care what nobody else is saying. I don't care what nobody else is doing. I'm not here to try to compete with nobody. I'm here to tell you guys that God will show out. If you serve with the spirit of excellence and you build relationships, God will take your business to levels you never thought that you could even go. He will take you above and beyond levels that you never thought you would be able to go by building relationships. And so go to the Buc-ee. If you don't go there, go there. Start patronizing the business. Buy a cup of coffee every other day for about 2 to 3 weeks, and be friendly at the same time to that same cashier that you see every other day that you go to. And when you go in there, this is what you say. Hey girl, your hair is so cute today. Build a relationship. I mean, be honest, get a queen some love, or if it's a guy, say, bro, I see you with your fade today. You looking clean. I've been coming in here for the last couple of weeks. I live down the street.
So is that what you do?
Yeah, I live down the street. I live down the street, and I know that y'all probably, your supervisor probably be watching you in the back on the camera, but I know that several guys or several women probably come in here saying that they, complain sometimes. You might hear them talking about they don't have a good dispatcher, because a lot of people are looking for great dispatchers, and say, I don't know if it's okay or not, but is it all right if I share a few of my business cards with you just to put on the counter, so if you hear anything, you can just shoot it out for me? And the worst case scenario they're gonna say no is no. And if they say no, guess what you say? I appreciate you, man, for even listening and giving me an opportunity to ask you, and God bless. And you just move to the next one. You're gonna hear no's. That's the part of business, period, in general.
And let me say this here. She said something key. Building relationships. Trucking is about building relationships. Transportation is about building relationships. You can't go anywhere, haul anything, without building a relationship with that dispatcher, with that broker, with that carrier. Even if I'm a carrier and I'm going to a shipper that I got a load from the broker, you have to build a relationship with that shipper because he's the one allowing us to move his commodity. Now, when she said about the truck stop, this is what you can do, because when I was over the road and I would drive from Houston to Long Beach, right? And I would always go through Quartz, Arizona. There would be a point in my trip where I would take my break. Mm-hmm. So I was going there every week. Mm-hmm. So when I would go through, I would stop going to California. Okay. When I would be on the way home, I would stop, right? Mm-hmm. Because there was a pilot there that sold you can get a hot meal. Okay. Now, whether it was healthy or not, with the sodium and stuff. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't have to, eat in my truck. Mm-hmm. So I would stop there, and they got to seeing me so much. And I already had a number of showers on my list, on my card, on my fuel card. And I wouldn't have to worry about taking a shower. Mm-hmm. So I was just going there all the time. So one year, I worked Christmas. Mm-hmm. I worked the Christmas week. So I went through there and went in and got ready to take my shower. And the manager said, "Hey man, we got something for you." I said, "What you mean?" Because it was sometimes I went there and a driver had a bad load. His load had shifted. So it was about 4 or 5 drivers there trying to help. That's how you know when you got a driver. So we were there trying to help because we know that if he lose a load on the road, that the government is going to come up with another rule that's going to affect all of us. Mm-hmm. So we helped a relationship. We helped that driver secure his load all over again. Okay. And come to find out, he only had been driving for 2 months on the road. Because that's what they do to you when you begin driving. They put you on that highway because all of the experienced drivers, they're home base. So they're not being on that road like that. So you get a young eagle driver who's ready to get his experience started, and you put him on the highway, which is good, but you got to put him on the highway with the proper training. Right. So he was on the highway and he said, "Nobody taught me how to do that." I believed him because it's some things that I done. Excuse me. When I first got into trucking, in the tankers, that I got caught up in. Mm-hmm. But when you have an aptitude to do things, and you have an aptitude to listen, and you have an aptitude to follow instructions, you can get the job done. Mm-hmm. But anyway, we helped him strap that load down. We re-chalked his pipes and all of that. Mm-hmm. We didn't have a forklift. So we had to kind of use our brain power. So we got some chains, took the first line, we belly wrapped it, and pulled the first rope. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, what I'm saying is this here. When that manager seen me come back through there, they fed me. They gave me so much stuff. Then on top of that, they gave me a $100 gift card to come back through that pilot and do whatever I wanted to do with it. Wow. Because I was working during Christmas. That was a Christmas gift. But because I had a relationship with them. Yes. So they go back to what you were saying. Go in there, buy something to eat, even if you don't want it. Just buy it, take it, give it to a homeless person. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Sit down, have a donut, some coffee. Just mix and mingle in the truck stop. And if you do that enough, drivers will see you coming in there. And then they have these. If you ever look on the blackboard in the truck stop, they have all kind of advertisement on their blackboard, and people have their little slips there, and you can tear it off. Yep. if you're in need of any of the services that's on that list.
Yep.
So, like you said, relationships.
But not only that, if you're a business owner, you have to rep your brand. You have to rep your brand. Like I put on a little clothes and a little makeup today for y'all. But typically, my husband know I have on my Robert's Freight Dispatch all white hoodie with the logo on it every day. Like every day. Seriously.
Woo, let me tell y'all something. Hold on. Woo, let me tell y'all something, man. Woo! Hey, I'm telling you, this merch that's finna come out.
I snapped on the design.
For the podcast. We gonna have it hang it up soon.
Yeah, we getting ready to
real
do this photo
soon.
shoot, but
we doing hats, we doing hoodies, we doing t-shirts. We're gonna this freight trap, because freight trapping is for everybody.
Yes.
If you out there getting it,
if you getting it in this industry, it's for you. Because if this industry is taking care and creating legacies, man, for you and your family, you freight trapping.
You freight trapping.
Whether you brokering loads, whether you dispatching loads, whether you transporting loads, you freight trapping. All like day, every day.
Just like that.
That's what we do. And this...
like that.
Yeah. We have a passion for this like no other. It's crazy. But real talk, rep your brand. Proverbs 31, rep your brand. Invest, go to Vista Prints, upload your logo, purchase you a hoodie, purchase you a polo style t-shirt, and rep your brand. Like, period. Like, I'm so serious because when I walk in stores, or even when I'm at the nail shop, now you already know if a woman is at the nail shop and it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon or 10 o'clock in the morning, I always notice that the people that's doing my nails are told, say, "Oh, what you doing?" You know how they talk. You know, what you do for a living, you know? And so I'll be like, "Oh, well, I own my own business." And they're like, "Oh, what kind of business?" Because they know at 10 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday or Wednesday, you should be at work. But if you sitting up in here, they know that either you're on vacation or they know that you must own your own business. And when I tell them that, I have on my merch, I have on my brand, I have on my product, you know, what I do. And that is really huge when you are going and introducing yourself to people. You know, have your brand on, rep your company, let them know that you are a business professional at all times. It's not about being ghetto and, you know, silly. These brokers are not, let me tell you something. Us as dispatchers going and building relationships at the truck stops, at the dealership, wherever we're going, is the same thing the brokers are doing. Before pre-COVID, the brokers are going to these shippers in their area, in their city, at least once or twice a week, trying to talk to whoever's over the decision making of moving the freight, right? They're going to go in there. And once they finally get the meeting, does not mean they're going to get the contract. They have to go in and sell themselves, guys. And that's even with dispatching. We are out here to show these carriers that we genuinely care about them. We're not here to give them any type of headaches. We're here to serve them with the spirit of excellence, help them build their business, help them build their relationships, help them build their reputation in this industry. You are a representation of these carriers, because when you're talking to the brokers, all they know is, I talked to T and T said this. They don't care nothing about the owner. Most of my carriers will tell you that they have it easy. They don't get a lot of calls. I not now, but I did. I handled a lot of the calls. I was a problem solver. And once you know that you can become a problem solver in anything you're doing, you're going to become the biggest sensation of whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, guys. So I just wanted to share that little tip, man. I love this industry.
Hey, look, I want to thank my wife for just dropping nuggets and, you know, opening up and telling us about her journey to being the dispatch queen. And so at this moment, I know we have some questions. And we have some, you guys want to get it in, call in and talk to us. Hey, go ahead and dial at 731-2494. Once again, that's 727-731-2494. And we're gonna answer your questions and try to keep this conversation going. So once again, like I was saying, I just want to go back to the relationship aspect of it.
Is it on speaker?
No.
We can't hear when it... Oh, you can hear him?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
This is our first episode, so we're working out the kinks.
Well, yeah.
And I don't even know if
that's the thing.
we're
keep
trying.
It at 100. We
yeah.
just want to make sure we can hear you.
This is raw.
If you call in.
Hold on. So I got a caller on the line, and so this is what we're gonna do. Let me talk to the caller. Caller, are you there? Hello, caller, are you there?
Hello? Yes, I'm here.
Hey, how you doing? You're our first caller.
How you doing?
Hey, who am I speaking with?
This is the P31 woman on Instagram. My name is TJ.
Hey, hi, Miss TJ. How you doing? Proverbs 31
Where you
woman.
calling from?
I'm doing good. I'm doing well. How y'all doing?
We're doing well. Where you calling from?
I'm calling from Dallas, Texas.
All right, D-Town.
All right.
Okay.
All right. My church member, DJ Armstrong. Shout out to DJ Armstrong. He defensive end for the Dallas Cowboys, number 92.
Okay.
Go ahead. What you got for us? What you got for us?
Yes, sir. Are you allowed to dispatch under your husband's LLC? So, like my husband, he's about to enter the trucking field, and he's going to be an owner-operator, so he's up for ABC Trucking. Can I also put my dispatch under my husband's ABC Trucking, or do I need to have my own as his client?
Can you hear me okay? TJ, you there?
Your input is invalid. You entered 2. Please enter your PIN followed by the pound or hash.
Who did
If
that?
you do not know your PIN, please.
Let's see.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hey, TJ. Hello?
Oh, she dropped out.
Okay,
You can
we're
go
going to
ahead.
wait. She's going to call back.
Yeah, she'll call us back. Let's go back into, but if she's still on the live, I still want to answer her question, and this is going to be recorded. She wants to know if she can dispatch under her husband's LLC.
Hold on. Here she is.
Okay, here she goes.
Hey, TJ.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay,
Awesome.
go ahead. Good.
Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yes, ma'am. I can hear you now. Yes.
Okay, awesome. So what I would say is, I get a lot of husband and wife couples. So you guys are a team. If you want to start the dispatching under his LLC, of course it's his company, so it won't be yours, right? But you guys are a team. What you would do is, you absolutely could. You could always go, because you're in Texas, so you could actually go and call the state, and he can get a DBA for the dispatching company added to the umbrella of the LLC. Okay? And then that way you could separate the trucking aspect of business from the dispatching. And even though it's a unit, it's still going to be recognized and protected under that umbrella. So you could definitely do that, and then you could just run it for him. You know what I mean? And dispatch for him.
Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Hey,
You're so welcome.
Thank you for
Thank you
being
so
our
much.
first caller, man.
We truly
Thank
appreciate
you. So much.
you. Thank you.
Yeah. God bless y'all.
God bless you
Bye-bye.
too. Bye-bye. Awesome. I'm excited.
Yeah,
So
was
we had our
cool.
first caller. We see that you guys are still on here on the live. As for me, I just want to, I'm going to close out my part of the interview because, and I'll let James take it from there. But I just want to, I just have a really big habit of speaking affirmations. That's just something I've been doing since I was a teenager. And I just really believe that everybody that's on here listening today, there's something that you're passionate about. You've been, struggling if you should get involved in this industry. And if you feel within your soul and your spirit that this is something for you, don't sit on it, man. Step out on faith and trust that God is not going to steer you the wrong way. Push and press your way through. Be the best you that you can be. Go hard or go home. That's my motto. I go hard at everything I do every day. We've been able to be blessed, and I am the first black female in the city of Houston to have a transportation and logistics training academy where we specialize in full professional driver 1 and 2 CDL training, the instruction, as well as the in-truck training. We also are certifying to get your forklift certification, and a few other things that we are grateful and proud to announce that we are doing, that we will talk about at a different time. But everything that I'm doing now, I spoke these things as though they were, and I spoke these affirmations, and I want to speak these affirmations before I depart from this podcast tonight. That you're great, that you're everything God says you are, that in this season that you're in, you're the head and not the tail, and that you are above and not beneath, and that no weapons formed against you shall prosper, and any tongue that rises up in judgment against you, it shall be condemned. It's your turn, it's your season, and if you keep growing and keep sowing, God is going to just open up a window of so many blessings you won't have room enough to receive. And if you're that person that's always saying, well, if I do this and if I do that, you need to turn into that person that when I do, and when I do this, and when I do that. Because if you focus on the WHEN, God's going to turn around so you can experience your WIN. Oh, that was deep. If you focus on the WHEN, God is going to turn it around so you can enjoy your WIN. So with that being said, I love each and every one of you. I appreciate you guys for joining us and rocking with us tonight. I thank you for listening to me, and I hope I shared enough nuggets and enough tools and enough tips and things for you guys to build a business, be successful in the business that you have. And that's all I got for you tonight.
Listen,
Queen
this
of Dispatch
has been TrapN Podcast. And I want to leave you guys with this. We are first, always, forever children of God. We always put Him first in everything we do. This wouldn't be standing if it wasn't for Him and what He do in our lives and how He's moved in our lives. So if you don't believe, keep it to yourself. I don't care. This podcast is for everybody.
Yeah.
We don't discriminate whether you believe or don't believe. We believe over here.
Yeah.
And this is built on faith.
Yes.
We started this on faith.
Yes.
We jumped out on faith.
Yes.
We roll in faith. We trap in faith.
Yep.
So right now I'm going to just tell y'all this. This is my health tip for the week. Detox your body. When I used to run in and out of them different cities, coming in and out of those different climates, detox your body. I did it the wrong way for a long time. I would come home and I would take NyQuil, right? Mm-hmm. To keep the bug off. But that's not detoxing.
Yeah.
That's hurting your kidneys, really.
Mm-hmm.
Detox your body. Get you some type of detoxification system that'll allow you to move that stuff through naturally. And I've taken some of this young lady's product. My wife has taken it some too. Go check out Jive Juice Company. Mm-hmm. She got a detox tea, man, that'll clean you out in a matter of 2 days. That'll run it naturally through you without taking any of those syrups, any pills, or any of that stuff. Mm-hmm. So go check out Jive Juice Company out of Houston, Texas, and order your detox tea through her. And the last thing I want to say is this. Listen to your intuition. Mm-hmm. Trust your inner thoughts. Don't never second guess your inner thoughts. Basically, follow your gut.
Yeah.
And this is the Freight TrapN Podcast. Thank you guys for joining us.
Be blessed, guys.
We out.
We love you.